Welcome, welcome to Toronto for the penultimate game of the Americas Pro Cup. Game 6 out of 7 sees the EuroStars take on the Toronto 6ixers. After a heavy loss to Brute Squad 2 days ago, Team Europe now only lead Team America by 1 point in the series. And the 6ixers tonight now have a chance to put America ahead for the first time in these closing stages of the tour. I'm Charlie Blair, joined by Elena Papagiannis. So Elena, if the EuroStars win by 4 or more points tonight, you can see here it's currently 7-6. They will take the series. If they win by 4 points or more, as that margin, they will take the series. That's the end of the tour. Are the Sixers a team that can stop this from happening? It's a team lots of people are excited about right now. Tell us who they are.
Yeah, the Sixers are definitely a team who could put up this challenge against the EuroStars. They're equally athletic. They're talented. They're motivated. They've had they're peaking at this point of the season too. They've had Worlds. They're still prepping for Pro Champs next week in New York. So they're very much still, deep in their season.
Yeah, definitely a team on the up, and that hasn't been unnoticed. If we look at the previous World Clubs results, fantastic win against Ozone, a really heartbreaking Universe Point loss to Brute Squad. But as we can see with Brute Squad, such a slick outfit.
Right.
What a game to have had with them of late.
Right, and those games are still motivating, even though in the moment they're so deeply heartbreaking because you're so close. But to come that close is so motivating for the team in the future. You learn the most from your losses, right? And to have to be so close to winning really makes you sort of evaluate what you can do next.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the EuroStars are coming into this game. A team that has been finding their feet over the last 2 weeks. It marks the day now, 2 weeks into the tour, that the team has been together. They've had a great time in this tour. We've seen fantastic play from them. Great wins over Heist, Ozone, and obviously in particular the world champions Riot.
Yeah.
A tough time against Brute Squad and Fury, and they're disappointed, but not necessarily surprised.
Right.
As we know.
Right, and I'm excited to see, these players from how many different nations is it, did you say?
13 nations.
Right. I mean, that's just incredible, to even bring these players together and the challenges that brings up, but at the same time, such great opportunities for all of these players to then go back to their home countries and bring that experience and expertise. And it's really inspiring for other players, other female players in their countries too.
It's absolutely fantastic, and it's really great to have this high-level footage here that we're gaining over the tour for these players to go home and spread the word about what we're doing here.
Right.
So as we can see, down on the field, Sixers bringing the party.
Very different energies going on. There's some serious dancing and antics going on from the Sixers. And it's funny, it's almost like a weird history of Toronto that quite a few years ago, back when I was playing Capitals before Sixers formed, one year we just sort of realized we were a dancing team. It was just something before a game, we'd play a song and we'd all get into it, and then it would really be this high energy, motivating, positive thing. And since then, it's just a tradition now, not only in Toronto, but on a lot of our Team Canadas. There's always some dance, especially primarily for the female teams.
Yeah.
But it's a thing.
That's fantastic. The energy here is wonderful. It's something I've always enjoyed playing in North America. There's definitely the vibrancy, I think, sometimes to these tournaments. And it really is starting to feel like a party. The sunlight is beautiful. We were worried earlier that it'd be a bit of a washout.
Oh, it was miserable.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock, it was miserable here.
I was watching some of the finals from juniors earlier.
Oh, yeah.
World Juniors happening in Waterloo today, which I believe is only about an hour and a half away from here.
Yeah.
We've kindly been hosted by the Toronto Sixers at the moment, and we were staying with Jessica Chen, who you'll see here on the field tonight. And I was like, so all of that, is that definitely going to head in this direction? She's like, yeah. That's definitely always
it comes from west
to east.
It does. You know it when it's coming.
But thankfully we've escaped. It's a glorious evening. And we see the teams now getting ready to open this show with the opening ceremony.
Has this been done all throughout the tour?
Yes, yes, all throughout the tour we've had this ceremony. And as you can see tonight, Team Canada, Team America, sorry. I was looking straight at the Canadian flag. So yes, Sixers tonight forming part of Team America, and tonight rocking those beautiful Breakforce jerseys that we've seen occasionally on the tour. So as you can see, the many flags of Europe there, 13 nations, Great Britain, Switzerland, Netherlands, Italy, Latvia, Russia, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, Germany. Hope I haven't missed any. I'll definitely get reminded later. Sweden.
You are here to witness history in a thrilling encounter between Team North America and Team Europe. World Class Ultimate has arrived in Toronto. This is game number 6 of the tour. Current score in the series.
So as the teams line up now, Elena, who are the players that we should be keeping an eye on tonight?
Right, there's some veterans on the team who would have been a member of Capitals, which again was the team previous to Sixers. Sarah Kidd, Sarah Bobak. We also have Jordan Marin, who's also been a member of many World Championship or World's headed teams. Who else is on our line? There's the 2 captains this year, Lauren Kimura and Laura Kinoshita. It's their first year captaining together. And they're phenomenal. Like, I'm sure we'll see them also making a lot of connections on the field today. Yeah. Same thing with Sarah Kidd, Sarah Bobak, both strong receivers. Beaudry, we'll see Anushka Beaudry looking for all of those people downfield. And if not, she'll be probably trying to score the goal herself because she's known to be on both sides of that field goal line. How about from EuroStars?
For the EuroStars, we've seen brilliant performances all round, really. The stats for the team have been pretty even across the board, but there are a few that are starting to stand out as we get further down deep into the tour. We've got Maya Milik, who's really had a fantastic performance across the whole campaign and really proved to be a complete all-round player and a game-changing player. She linked up incredibly well with Bass against Brute Squads when the team really needed a turnaround, and it really only took the initiative of either one of them to break those handler marks, and suddenly EuroStars were away with 2 or 3 passes. So hopefully another brilliant performance from her tonight. Sarah Melvin, who we've discussed before in the campaign, new player from Ireland, has made an astonishing debut. Phenomenal athlete, great pace, has really been pulling down the scores for EuroStars, leading the way with 9 goals in the tour so far. And defensively, we've had some really strong plays from the likes of Milik again, and Dina Dumanskaya, the 6'3" Russian.
Right, yeah,
phenomenal wingspan. Really caught out Riot in that game. So there was a swing from Riot, which, I mean, no one saw the D coming.
Right.
The big reach of Dumanskaya really catches people out. I think at one point in the game, she got thrown the disc near the end zone straight to her, which was quite bizarre because she's the biggest target on the pitch. But very stealthy defensive player despite her size, clearly. And Katie Forth, who I know you're familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, Katie and Bex, I played with years ago, and as I was saying to you earlier, I'm pretty sure the last time I saw them was like playing against them on the sand in Paganello in a finals game, and they've always been such amazing competitors. Like, and I was not surprised at all to see them on this EuroStars tour.
They are incredibly inspiring. They had already been playing for about 10 years when I first met them, and still here they are, absolutely dominating the game. I believe Bex has 11 Paganello gold medals to her name.
I think so, yeah.
Incredible player, as is Katie, and both very, very intelligent players, as you would expect of players with such experience.
Absolutely.
And that's what gets them these really fantastic Ds. We saw a phenomenally athletic jump from Katie in the Riot game, which is kind of the poster photo moments of the game, but she's really, really great at getting these poachers as well.
Oh yeah.
Very, very stealthy player.
And that might be some of the differences we'll see today between some of the more experienced players and some of the rookies who, might be more athletic or faster, but might make more mistakes or might not have that same vision that some of the veteran players have to like see, 2 steps ahead for what's going to happen or how to position themselves so that they can get that D perhaps. So that'll be interesting to see tonight too.
Absolutely. But potentially what Sixers do have over Europe is these connections. Some of these European players have played together on the same European club teams, but they really have only been playing together as a unit for 2 weeks. They've only had 4 or 5 trainings and about the same amount of games at this stage. Whereas this Sixers team has come up together and matured together, and it's been a really impressive thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's their 3rd year, but sort of individually, there's almost like clans within that have played together previously, whether it's from under-19 teams or U24 teams, or, you know, even beyond that, previous Capitals players who have come along. So, so yeah, they're really, even though they're all these separate groups, they are really strong collectively.
And that's testament to the strong youth program in Ontario, I believe. Talking to people here, it sounds incredibly impressive what's been achieved of late.
Yeah, so Toronto Elites, Carla, who's one of the coaches for the 6ixers, and her partner, Evan, they're both coaches for 6ixers, and they're also both, you know, they began the Elites program, the Toronto Elites program, which is the juniors program. And they have, I believe it's a total of 7 teams. It's their 5th year, and it just keeps growing.
Wow.
And they're super successful. Women's have gotten medals every year, and the men's have actually been in the finals all of those 5 years that they've been involved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great, and I believe we're about to do the flip.
Oh, it's a public flip.
Oh, public flip.
Pressure's on.
Okay, so as the players decide who's going to start on offense, who's going to start on defense, and which side of the field, we're going to leave you with a little teaser of the tour, and we'll be right back for the opening start of the game. Welcome back to the 6th game of the Pro Americas Cup. This is the penultimate game of the series. Team Europe currently lead 7 points over Team America's 6 points. Can Toronto 6ixers get Team America ahead for the first time in this tour? We're expecting a gritty, fast-paced game from both of these teams.
Absolutely. So who did we see who's starting on offense or defense?
Hard to tell right now. So we've got, we see the two teams starting this game very differently.
Yeah.
Toronto 6ixers huddling up, getting loud, getting big. We can see them jumping and clapping, and EuroStars getting themselves amped with some sprints in the end zone.
And that really is a philosophy of the 6ixers, especially this year. They went into Worlds really focusing on spirit and wanting to have a strong spirit score. And actually that has a bit of a history too, even going back in Toronto, previous experiences, even as Capitals, just not getting the greatest spirit scores, and then really being like, what can we change?
Okay.
Is it perception? What can we do? Do we not, you know, shake hands after a call? And so what else can we do to improve spirit? And so they really went in focusing on spirit, and they achieved what they wanted to in terms of their spirit points. And we'll see that today too with the way they're playing. We talked to Carla earlier, and you know, part of their approach tonight is to have fun and play everybody.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of D-line cutters, which is hard to always get on to play depending on how the game's going. But you know, the goal is to make sure everybody sees the field at least a couple times.
Wonderful. And I know EuroStars going in exactly the same way, just here to have fun. I was talking to Lasma Kubitska earlier, and the last 2 losses have been tough, but EuroStars need to be proud of the resilience that they've shown.
Absolutely.
And they've learned a lot, and they just want to come into this game, as you said, enjoying it.
Well, that's what this is about too, right? It's learning. It's learning and then bringing it back and like making it fun for everyone to watch too. So everyone wants a good game. Basically, everyone here just wants a good game, right?
Absolutely, and I'm so sure we're going to get it. What a lovely, gorgeous evening. And here we have Molly Lewis with a monstrous pull to get us set off as EuroStars starting offense. 6ixers opting for a zone look straight away. Sky lays it off to Hauser, who finds Eklund. 6ixers containing EuroStars well.
Oh, and a hand block.
A huge hand block there from number 18, Reeve Chan. And now Toronto 6ixers have very quickly turned the EuroStars and have a chance to get a break from the off. Patiently finds the around and just floats up, and huge snag there.
Jenna McLeod.
Jenna McLeod. What a fantastic opening point from the 6ixers. Reeve Chan there with the hand block.
And I think that was a really good example there. I know it's just a quick little point, but Molly did not force that throw up the line, and she saw that there was a EuroStars player poaching. And so that's another sign of sort of growing experience, of not forcing those throws and looking for a better option and, you know, dumping and swinging the disc across.
Yeah, fantastic discipline. Something that Bex Forth earlier was saying would probably be the defining feature of this game. Both teams have a lot of shots in their arsenal. Both teams like being fast and putting up those hucks.
Right.
But it's really at this stage, when you're at this level of the game, it's about not giving away any errors, because they will be punished as soon as you do.
Yeah.
And 6ixers have punished the EuroStars straight away here. Lovely hand block there from Rev Chan, who I believe has been brought up from Toxics, not actually a regular player on the 6ixers squad.
No, no, and that's another sort of great aspect of the Toronto system that we have. It's meant to be, especially within the women's, it's meant to be a system with multiple teams that, you know, the goal is that you can shoot for that next upper team beyond your talent level maybe that year, but you have something to shoot for, and really 6ixers is the team to shoot for in Toronto, and Toxics is the second team.
Fantastic. And so here we have EuroStars looking to hold. Bass.
Oh, nice little cheeky hammer, or cheeky blade.
Bass really loves to take on a zone. She said it's her favourite thing to play against. And here we have Milik yet again with a huge huck to find Melving in the end zone, laying it off to Katie Forth. Lovely slick point there.
Yeah, that looked very easy. That looked very easy. And again, that would be an unorthodox throw, right? They had a little cup on. We're not expecting, you know, a cheeky little blade, right to go over.
Yeah, those sort of bladey throws are very popular in Europe.
Right.
Yeah, played a lot of Scandinavian tournaments.
I was going to say, I've been to the one in Gothenburg, indoors.
Yes, Winter Trophy.
And you're like, I've never seen so many blades in my life. Have I been playing a different game this whole time?
Yeah. Yeah. And you feel very cheated, don't you?
You
like,
do!
This is not Frisbee.
Yeah!
But Bass there perfectly taking what was being given.
Yeah.
As we discussed earlier, there's really no wind here tonight.
No, it's really beautiful.
And an option that Bass always likes to use, she loves to use those flare looks.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see if 6ixers change tact with this zone.
Yeah, they might. I mean, they have a lot of looks on D, so I'm curious to see what they'll bring out the next time. They do often like to put on something a little zony and melt into a man, hoping to stop, you know, like a huck look right off the bat, but we'll see what they have tonight.
So let's see what the 6ixers offense has got, and they've put the huck up straight away. Number 22, Sarah Bobak, streaking ahead of Bex Forth, but unfortunately the disc did not sit high enough.
Bodri looked like she was shaking that off a bit. It looked, I don't know if it was a bit wet.
So we have foul on the play. Uncontested foul, yeah. Iska Bodri just hot on the heels of Priyan there. Priyan swings around to Bex Forth. Finding Eklund on that far sideline and perfectly puncturing that space that Prien enters into for Rolfie. Nice patience from the EuroStars, finding and waiting for those open undercuts. Ooh. Great hands there from Jesse Wu, but not enough to rattle Yanni Keppelman. And Kablitska shoots up the line to Dimenskaya.
Oh, wow.
And there we have the break back from the EuroStars.
And that was a beautiful point. EuroStars just kept cutting, like, right? They just kept grinding in the lane, trying to get open, and really a lot of times beat that open side D of the Sixers.
Absolutely, lovely just to see them trusting the system, staying disciplined, not letting that first break rattle them, and very much back in this game. So as you can see, whole team effort from EuroStars on the line today. Everyone involved, everyone engaged. They know coming into this game that they had to be mentally very switched on. Perhaps it's something that let them down in previous performances, and potentially fatigue. It's been a very, very long trip.
Yeah.
A very, very packed schedule.
Yeah, it's important to strike that balance between, like, you know, the last game you just played and having a clean slate. You know, learning something, but then still coming in fresh.
Yeah. Sixers gain a few yards from that pull. Nice handler marks there from Milik.
Oh, wow.
Sixers.
Yeah, that was a different look. You could tell the Sixers were trying to figure that one out.
Did very well
Still
to
are.
find Jessica Chen in that IO, who holds in that center field position, finding Sarah Innes on the line. Oh, and unfortunate miss throw there from Jordan Merrin, one of the captains of the team. I believe one of the founding members of the team.
She's not a captain this year, I don't believe. I think it's Lauren and Laura.
Ah, apologies.
But they are founding members. Jeanette and Jordan have been integral in making this team happen.
Oh, and a couple of quick turns there from both sides. Both teams rushing a bit. So, Milik on the disc. Danish national from currently living in Copenhagen, has coached and captained the Danish national team for the last 4 years now. He had an excellent result at Beach Worlds last year, finishing 5th. And Innes lets it rip to the end zone, trying to find Lucy Hotel, but fantastic cleanup there from...
Classic Sarah Boback grab. I commented on that at the last game, at the AO game, how she has this classic way of, like, I could recognize her no matter what, that it's her. She could have, I literally said she could have a paper bag on her head, and I would still know that it was her. If she had no other identifying features other than just jumping up for the disc and taking it down that way, I would know it was her.
She's got a certain
does.
unmistakable swag.
She really does.
So again, another quick turn, and EuroStars have another chance to work it up, but it's got to work up the full 70, and another miscue. So
that looked like they were kind of rushing it there.
Yeah, both teams seem to be trying to up the tempo, but it's leading to confusion on both sides. So some quick give and goes from Sixers. Oh, and Kimura struggling to lay it off, but eventually finds Merun. Oh, and just manages to slip it in between the EuroStars defense. Laura Kinoshita back with Merrin.
I mean, they're really only playing in, you know, this little third part of the field. They weren't able to break it open like usual and try and dump and swing across. So that's something they're going to have to be, you know, trying harder to get open those spaces, because clearly that's what the EuroStars are taking away from them right now.
Absolutely, and exactly why they're rushing those distant open spaces. They can see the EuroStars hot on the shoulders. They know they have to put it far in front of their players, but this small space is making it very, very difficult. And EuroStars here calling a timeout. which I think is a sensible one.
It is. At this time, after all those throwaways, you need to take a deep breath and collectively sort of come back together.
Yeah, both teams seem quite flustered right now, seem to both be rushing. Both teams just need to have a drink of water and recalibrate here.
Have the EuroStars, would you say, had enough time to develop some sort of set plays, some go-to plays over the course of this quick tour? Like, do you expect we might see something that they're setting something up now to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely structures that they've been playing throughout the tour. And I think the only time they've broken down is in the Fury game we saw is the physicality of Fury.
Right.
I think that just psyched them out a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what's to be expected from North American teams. That's exactly why they're here. They're here to relish that challenge. And when that happens, you've got all these players from different nations who revert to what they know.
Right.
And obviously with 13 different nations being represented, that can be different things. And also many players who are the talismans, captains, coaches of their clubs, and are very used to coming in and being that bailout.
Right.
And what's beautiful about this EuroStars team is everyone wants it so much and so hard and so bad. But too many chefs spoil the brew.
Yeah, too much. Too much.
So EuroStars coming out, setting up in a horizontal stack. And now the defense have a chance to set up. Looks like 6ixers are going to opt for that zone again. Try and pinch EuroStars on this line. So Bass popping into the cup. Lovely scuba to Milik, who finds fourth. And there we find that flow as the 6ixers defense trail behind. EuroStars moving the disc well, not allowing 6ixers to set up their defense again. They've opted back to person, but fantastic run through D there from number 20, Laura Kimura. And there's a stoppage in play. Was that a pick call? Can't see any hand signals. Probably likely. It was looking quite congested in the middle. Play restarts again with Molly Lewis on the disc.
Oh.
Again, unfortunate.
Foul called.
So and a foul on the throw, which sent it sailing into the ground before Jessica Chen could scoop it up.
I mean, this is going to be a good challenge for the 6ixers to not get flustered by how, quite easily the EuroStars just broke through that zone of theirs.
Absolutely. Let's see how they can respond. Kimura with the disc again and another stoppage in play, another pick. So perhaps 6ixers losing their structure here a little bit. Lots of bodies seem to be racing into each other.
Wow.
Lovely looping pass to find Bobak. But the EuroStars defense clamps down again, but 6ixers knocking on the door of the end zone. Wonderful disc into space for Maron to take home. And that keeps the score at level peggins, 2-2 at an important point there. Turns from both teams, and EuroStars clearly recognise the importance of coming home with that point by calling the timeout. That would have given them the 2-point margin. They would have been up 3-1. But they've missed the opportunity to take that advantage. And a great point for 6ixers with that run through D from number 20, Laura Kimura. Do you know much about Laura?
Lauren, oh, you know what? I did have lists somewhere. She's been on the under-19 team, I believe, a few times. So she's like a strong junior that's come up. I assume she was on the U24. I apologize, I don't have the correct list with me. Do you have that there?
So she was a junior in BC.
Right.
Vancouver.
Yeah, she does have incredible throws as a handler. She will often, she has great long looks, beautiful long looks, and like as we could see in that throw to Sarah Bobak, like just found the space, right?
Yeah.
It was tight, Eurostars were clamping in, there wasn't much room, and she found that space, almost like basically forcing Bobak to go there, being like, this is where you should be, right? This is where the space, so we can open this point up a little bit.
And putting that lovely precise outside in on it, so it's looping around the defender into the running path of Bobak.
Yeah, we haven't seen any long puts by her, any big hucks yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did at some point.
That's it. Jessica Chen saying earlier she's now a bit of an idol for all upcoming juniors.
Oh,
and
right,
all
yeah.
their
Yeah,
bios
absolutely.
this week, that was the name, that was the inspiration for them. So, Eurostars with the disc, Dimiskaya finding Eklund on this near sideline. Back to Dimiskaya, finding fourth in the middle, but Sixers contain well again. And the cheeky pop over from fourth to Hauser there. Again, another pick. So if you're obstructed by another player, whether it's on your team or on the opposition team, and you can't catch up with your mark, you're entitled to call a pick. And
just a little too much.
So yeah, maybe I can see why the Eurostars wanted to try and aggressively take that quick look, but not a lot of space to work with.
No, that's a tough one to do right off the bat after a stoppage too.
And an important point now for the Sixers. Another stoppage. Number 18, Rev Chen on the disc there, who got the D earlier in the first point, getting Sixers their first break of the game. Finding her teammate up the line, and Sixers now brilliantly swinging the disc across the pitch, nice and fast. Finding a free Bethany Wong. Another upcomer from Toxics.
Oh, that's a tough, An
intelligent poach there from Sarah Eklund, coming off her mark in the end zone and clamping around the up the line cut from Rev Chen. And Eurostars back on Fest, setting up in that horizontal stack again. Oh, cheeky scuba, popping it over to the tall frame of Dimenskaya. Beautiful hook to Kablitska, who lays it off.
Get in there! Oh, wow. See, that's me, like I wanted to be there doing that. I'm surprised I didn't jump just now too, trying to get it myself.
Oh, jumping's encouraged. Yeah. Jumping's encouraged. Great patience there from Lasma Kablitska to turn around, lay it off, and allow the rest of her teammates to rush through and hit the end zone.
An incredibly precise throw there. Was that Dominskaya?
That was Yanni Kappelman.
Okay, but up the line to the...
Oh, the long hook, yeah, Dominskaya.
So precise.
So precise, and such yardage on those throws. And I love that roll curve around into the end zone. One of my favourite throws to do, actually, to get those assists. And Eurostars back ahead now, 3-2. And looking to break to get that 2-point advantage that they missed out on earlier in the game. So Francesca Scarampi with the pull. Picked up by Lauren Kimura. Finding Cindy Trung on the sideline. Swinging nicely. Nice aggressive cutting up the line from the handlers. Yep. EuroStars doing a good job of containing on the open side. As I say that, Sarah Bobak Manages to break free. Resetting again. Finding Anushka Boldry on the line, and she slots it in into that tight space.
Yeah, punches it in.
To number 4, Cindy Trong.
Oh no, to Sarah Kidd.
Sarah Kidd. My apologies, Sarah Kidd. EuroStars doing a great look of pressuring the handlers and stopping those up the line cuts, but 6ixers managing to wiggle free on that open side and not afraid to hit those tight spaces.
Well, and Boldry is an incredibly confident player, as she should be, because she is an incredible player and has incredible throws. And I actually coached with Carla at the under-19s when she was playing on it, and we won in Poland, and like you never see Boldry flustered.
Wow.
You know, like she just has this stoic confidence and stature about her, and she's not afraid. She's not afraid to try things, and she's very good at what she does. So, rightfully so.
Yeah, turning many ahead at the moment. I believe she won the OT World Breakout Player of the Year last year. So, again, 6ixers leveling the score, 3-3. EuroStars unable to break away, neither team unable to break away at this stage of the game. So, Russian Dimanskaya picking up the disc again, laying it off to Hauser. Good pressure on those handler resets, making Dimanskaya reach to save possession of that. EuroStars continue to cycle. Lovely, aggressive cutting up the line.
Wow.
Brilliant save from Sarah Eklund for the EuroStars. Dimanskaya again on this near sideline, looking to put it long, but another pick called. And there we have it. She was looking for it again. She saw the white shirt of Ferolfi and reels it in. And there we have it, the pizza celebration I was promised. That's how we celebrate in Italia. Pizza for all.
That's really funny. I mean, that's a bold throw to take a huck like that with potentially 2 defenders. There was another defender poaching off that saw that going up, and that might not be something that those 6ixers defenders expected to actually go up, because they're like, well, I'm pretty close to her. They're not going to throw that, are they? And then it goes up. So 6ixers might be adjusting to some of those deep threats that they might not have taken as seriously earlier on in the game.
For sure, and we know it's nice to see the trust that this team has gained, and many of the team know that Laura Ferolfi loves that deep cut.
Right.
She does that all day, every day for her club, Crisp, from Bologna. And if you see her charging, dipping her head, you know what to do.
Right. She's hungry for pizza.
I mean, everyone wanted to see the celebration. That's
yeah.
That's right.
That was on the chatter.
Yeah. Important that Laura scores today.
6ixers starting in a split stack here. Oh, beautiful gainer there.
Yeah, lovely throw there. Finding Sarah Kidd on the line, and again another stoppage in play.
And that's a not uncommon connection that you'll see, Sarah Bobak and Sarah Kidd.
Are they both former Capitals players?
They are, and they played together on multiple, Worlds teams as well. And Sarah Bobak actually initially, when we were on Capitals used to be Ottawa and Toronto combined, and now, so 6ixers is just Toronto based, but we sort of gained Sarah Bobak from the Ottawa, from the Ottawa scene.
So you got the good deal in the breakup.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
and look at
this.
they straight away. And great effort there. I can't quite see who it is. Number 14.
Sarah Innes.
Sarah Innes. But unfortunately unable to connect. She's a O-line cutter, praised for being super consistent, sometimes overshadowed by the bigger names on the line, but makes a real impact on this team. So quick handler movement from EuroStars. Melvin on the disc, laying it off to Scrampin. Lovely give and go movement. Looking to do the same again. And great work through the hole there from Scrampy.
Wow.
Swinging the disc really quickly across the pitch and sending to Melvin.
Beautiful D by Kimura by the looks of it.
But
looks like she got her hand on it too, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful D. The disc actually moved quite slowly, it seemed, from here.
And Stepanitis was there too, potentially, but it looked like it was Kimura who got her hands on the disc.
Oh, an unfortunate miss throw.
Wow.
Sailing over the head, and again, like for like, both teams rushing their throws, and Sixers have a chance to work it all the way back up again.
And some of these two aren't necessarily bad choices. It just comes down to the execution in the end. Like the space is there, the person's there, but the connection just is not there. It's not exactly executed.
And that's a hard skill to learn as a player, actually, isn't it? It's that you can see that temptation, and to be able to rein it in is something that needs to be learned. Oh, and now the miss throw, allowing Milik to smash it to the floor. But
tight defense here on the dump.
Defense. Milik doing well there to exploit the face marking of Sixers. Popping it over the top to Bass. Not necessarily the safest throw, but when the defense's back is to you, it's on.
I almost yelled up to tell her. I had to stop myself.
So discussion on the disc.
Oh, stall. Was it a stall out?
Wow.
Good defense. That worked then. Did the trick.
Brilliant defense from Sixers there. Now they're looking to charge up the other end of the pitch, finding Anushka Baudry. Lovely pop off.
Oh yeah, we knew someone was going for that. Beautiful.
Wonderful flow there from Sixers. What a great point.
Yeah. Kimura to Kidd, and often you'll see Sarah Kidd. She's a great receiver. You'll often find her striking for the end zone.
Fantastic team D there from Sixers to generate that turn. And not a lot of passes.
That is a focus of the Sixers, and Carla especially. Like, I've played and coached with her, and really a huge focus is on defensive skills, even in tryouts.
Right.
You know, you're doing lots of things to see your defensive instinct, as well as like how coachable you are, and to learn that strong, open side defense.
And I think that's the right way around. I don't know if you'd agree, but if you're able to learn defense, I think it makes you a much better offensive player.
Absolutely, you have a sense of what's going on, a better sense and awareness. Yeah. And then you don't overthink it, because oftentimes on offense, if people are playing, especially if they're new, they can get a bit sort of bogged up in their own head and not know what to do. But if you start on defense, get a sweet D, just take off running, the adrenaline's on your side, right?
And I'm sure the adrenaline would be coursing now for the Sixers. Still not allowing EuroStars to break away, and now they'll be looking to break themselves. So, for Rolfie. There's Hauser in the middle, but fantastic poach from the isolation play.
Laura Kinoshita, that's not a comment to see her with some smart D.
Molly Lewis, big D-line player, is the one who reels in the score for Sixers, and that's a break. Yeah, Molly Lewis, I hear, has one of the most phenomenal pulls for Sixers. Under 24 player this year. Normally a anchor for the D-line with Dos Santos, Britt Dos Santos,
who's missing today.
Who's unfortunately missing today, only to be representing Team Canada at World Juniors.
Yeah, that's the best reason.
But Lewis not missing her today, and making a huge impact on that point. And a great break from 6ixers.
The skies are looking a bit threatening now. I don't think it's going to rain, but it's
looming, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the light is sort of, you know, changing a little bit in a way that makes me a bit nervous, but I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, you notice, don't you, when the floodlights become more prominent and you lose that natural daylight, and it really changes the atmosphere of the game.
It does.
Yeah. So.
Oh, there's some dancing on the far sideline going on. I'm excited to see what the EuroStars are going to do on offense here.
Yeah, wonderful sound system in this stadium. Beautiful, beautiful stadium. Many thanks to Toronto Rush for hosting us tonight. And EuroStars looking for that isolation straight away, and here comes Scarampy charging in. Good patience from Bass, trusting those systems. Lisa Prada from Spain on the far sideline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, trying to just poke it to Katie Forth, who tried to toe the line, but unfortunately the disc is now out. And you have to say an unforced error potentially from EuroStars, but again, this Toronto defense is really ramped up, really struggling to find options.
Oh, wow, that was getting close.
Lovely aggressive take there from Destin McKillen. Another one of the Toxics who've been moved up to the 6ixers roster today, as they miss key handlers like Britt DeSantis.
Some nice movement right now.
Finding Jeanette Koch on the line. Another one of the captains and coaches of Toxics who sends it to the end zone, but
I mean, the stall count must have been very high there. It seemed like that was their only option.
Definitely looked like the last and final option on offer there.
The dump was out of position, didn't sort of clear and go up the line, and she just, you know, looked and Hail Married.
So testament to both teams, this great team defense. Both teams working incredibly hard here.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're forcing some hard choices on both sides.
Wonderful aggressive break there from Millock. Finding that poached player. Melvin has a little tumble, but Melvin finds Bass. She wants it.
Oh, yeah.
Can see her cocking up the shot and
oh, wow.
tries to drop it into the hands of Millock, but great reactive D from 6ixers, clamping in on that cut up the line, and they break onto the line again. Finding Destin McKillen. Trying to find that.
Very crowded right now. Yeah,
swing.
That's a great move right there. Wow.
Great hustle from Katie Forth, forcing a brilliant bid from Destin McKillen, who seems to be getting every second past this point. An impressive point from a new addition to the roster.
And she's a natural player. I helped coach Toxics a few years ago, and she was just new and extremely coachable, like quick to learn, and had a real instinct for the game and natural athleticism.
Yeah, and showing it off on this big stage tonight. Sessa
just some
around
bad
into the end zone, but
yeah,
not ideal. Normally, not the ideal shot to send it to a cluster in the end zone. Asking a lot of her teammates there. And EuroStars have another chance to work it up the full 70 yards. As with a leaping throw that is saved by Katie Forth. Centering to Scarampy. See the streaking cut of Sarah Melvin, but Scarampy doesn't like it. Likes it now. Lovely pop off, and Scarampy wants that long look straight away. And really nice vision, exactly what you wanted. Love that when that handle movement happens with that little layoff, you've got that momentum and you want to be looking straight away. The cut was there, but unfortunately, as we keep seeing time and time again, execution from both teams.
Right, and the cut really could have been adjusted, because when you look at it, I don't know if we're going to have a replay or not, but it was essentially in line with the thrower, which, as you know, is a really, like, you have to put it out, really out to one side or the other to get to then come back to the inside. So it was a tough throw. The cutter maybe could have, you know, pulled to one side and then opened up and done a, you know, a cut. Are we going to see it again? Yeah, so it's right, like she's right in line with her, which is just, you have to really put it out, and then so it can come back down onto her. So it's a tough cut, tough throw, and we'll see. It'll be curious to see how they adjust. It would be great to see the game open up a bit and see some more of those long looks. We haven't seen a ton of them, and but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Isa Prada, a complete goal fiend. She was part of Team Spain at World Beach last year and topped the stats for them in goals. I think she had 22 by the end of the week.
Yeah.
And has been a great target for the EuroStars.
And Skarampi, it seems like she's doing everything on this tour. She's handling a little bit, she's cutting a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real throwback for me seeing some of these players. Because yeah, friends, you know, started in London around the same time I did.
Yeah.
And actually maybe a few years after, but she was around when I was there too, and it's just great to see her still, you know, being such a strong player and just even getting, you know, better and better, and now with years of experience behind her too, which you can see, like, you can see in the way she plays, she's very adaptable.
Yeah. I've always found something very elegant about the way Fran plays as well.
Absolutely.
Really, really graceful player.
Yep.
And utter workhorse and just absolutely capable in every capacity. Again, for me, starting as a player in London was someone I looked up to from the off, and she'd only been playing for maybe a year before me, but it looked like she'd been playing for 10.
Absolutely. She was, again, she is one of those players too who, you know, was really quick to learn and just had a natural instinct for the game.
So both teams set up again after that timeout.
Oh, I wish we could have listened in, see what kind of adjustments they were both making, because it seems like they both have adjustments to make.
So Jessica Chen on the disc.
What was
Foul
that
called? I think, was it Bass who called that foul?
I think so, yeah. Maybe when they were cutting together, it looks like there was maybe a shove or a... Oh, it's hard to tell.
Hard to tell, yeah, but see Bass gesturing their elbow, I think, maybe a little push off.
It was called a bit further back though, I think, yeah.
And that's something that the EuroStars have had to adjust to, the physicality of North American teams. Not all players have had the chance to play at this level of this kind of intensity. And
the problem, or one of the challenges of that too, is that it can get misinterpreted as being unspirited.
Yes.
Which is a challenge.
So here we have Sarah Burke swinging back round to Jessica Chen. Oh, and really well read Poach D from Paula Bass. Takes on that break straight away, finding Milik, and a beautiful roll curve into space to find Katie Thorpe. Fantastic point there from the Dutch international, Paula Bass.
It looked like on the side of the 6ixers too, it's, you know, it looked like Bass read it better than Dustin. Or McQuillan didn't even know it was really for her. But, you know, again, great idea, not quite executed properly, and then being punished by the EuroStars.
Fantastic game awareness, and again, really nice to see Bass being a strong playmaker for the EuroStars. We saw her doing this against Brute Squad a couple of days ago, and that combination with Milik is looking really beautiful. She's an incredibly experienced player for such a young player. She's only 23, but started playing when she was 10. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
12, 13 years of experience. She's played on numerous junior teams, captained all 5 of the ones that she was part of.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great testament to her as a player and a leader. And
absolutely.
Yeah, she leads by example.
Even though she's based in Amsterdam, currently plays for Jaka, the French outfit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
She now swears a lifelong allegiance to.
Yeah, like you can just go to so many tournaments in different countries, and it's just Amazing.
So EuroStars opting for a zone look, kind of sagging off the handler marks. But they find that poach on the sideline really well, but contained and swinging it back round.
Sixers looking pretty relaxed in this, actually.
Nice give and goes.
Oh, wow.
Again, that lovely long reach of Demenskaya.
Yeah.
Gets the D.
What can the Sixers do here?
So, Korean finding for Rolfie on the counter. Demenskaya charging up the line. Lovely big target. You can comfortably send it up high. When you see her big figure. Brilliant save from Hauser. Taking on that break. Finding Keppelman, not quite in the end zone. Nice patient layoff and to pop back into Priyan. And that's the goal, and that's the goal. Bit of hesitation there, wasn't sure if there was a call. And a goal and a break for the EuroStars.
I gotta say, I was nervous a few times there. Those tight little throws, it was looking pretty crowded, but I'm glad the EuroStars were able to get that in.
I'm so jealous of Demenskaya's big reach. As a defensive player myself, I really enjoyed baiting those throws, but easy for Demenskaya to do there. So here we have EuroStars with a break and in the lead.
What is our score now? I've totally lost
6-3 now.
6-3 now.
Yeah, hard to see on
Oh yeah, it is hard to see.
I've been trying to keep track, but
6-5.
6-5.
That's why, no wonder, okay.
I looked down at my notes and it was 4-5, so 6-5.
I just get so into the game.
Yeah. Thanks to Luke for keeping us updated.
Yeah.
So great break there for EuroStars. They'll be looking to hold that and take the half.
EuroStars goals for number 2, Nikki Priyan.
That's with a big disc. EuroStars opting for person defense again. Look charging down and nice aggressive up the line cutting from Laura Kimura again. Really running the show at the back for the Sixers today. Finding Sarah Boback. Again, nice pressure from the EuroStars, but Kimura doing a fantastic job of wiggling off those marks.
There we go. Beautiful
lovely aggressive braking to hit that line. Sixers moving very close to the disc, but now they burst out.
Oh, very
finding
nice.
Sarah Kidd in the end zone.
That was a nice quick release too. It's like she knew she was going to do it when she caught that disc. She was immediately looking for the end zone.
And fantastically read. Quite a hard, those discs coming straight over your head and over your shoulder. Very hard to take down, but confidently done. Tracking it all the way in and fully outstretched. Brilliant work there. So again, keeping us tight. 6-6. 6-6 to the Sixers.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this top 6 connection. We have quite a few of them that have filled out the top the Sixers roster tonight.
Often some of the Sixers players will actually help coach Toxics. So part of the beauty is they'll often run the same plays and systems. So it is easy to bring up a Toxics player because they play the plays, they know them, they know the same Ds, they have the same looks. So that's also part of what's built into the system is, you know, playbooks might be adjusted. Maybe Sixers might have more plays offensively or more Ds, but sort of the fundamentals are shared across the women's team so that they do have that option to play up.
Amazing. Really lovely to see that integration as well. I think it's something that's not particularly common.
No, it's not.
It'd be lovely to see more of it. So 6ixers coming down, looking to get a break before the half themselves. And every time it's laid onto Dimanskaya,
Yeah, I know.
You're
Oh,
expecting to shoot long, but
she was a little too deep. It looked like she looked for it, but the cutter was already there. She was too deep.
and that's a connection we've seen many, many a time. Dimanskaya to Koblitska, Russian to Latvian. They're from separate countries but play together many times. They go to the same local tournaments. I know Koblitska played with Cosmic Girls with Dimanskaya for a season. But unable to retain possession, and 6ixers again looking for that break. Lovely leading pass. But again, 6ixers potentially forcing their little. I felt like all of those players were kind of clearing out really, rather than...
Well, I mean, it looked like they were sort of expecting it, but then not expecting it all at the same time. But yeah, there were definitely too many.
But there's that huge arm of Dimanskaya that we were hoping to see earlier, finding Pri and laying it off to Bexforth. Beautiful,
oh, beautiful
puncturing throw there from Bexforth, finding Brian on that break side. Plugging in the 7th point for the EuroStars. Huge grab from Lasma Koblitska there, great athleticism. A lovely arcing forehand we see again and again from Dimanskaya. Nice patience from the captain, Bexforth.
And I mean, it's one of those things where she's incredibly hard to mark because, I mean, she does have that huge wingspan. You don't want to just give her a huge huck, but you don't want to give her a break.
Right.
So, you know, so you have to kind of rely or just trust the fact that the defender downfield is doing their job. And if it goes up, at least you didn't let off a huge break, right?
And she's such a weapon for the EuroStars. It's more common to find those taller players running those deep shots and being on the receiving end. But as you say, with such a big span and tall frame, it gives her so many options, more than most.
It must be exciting for these EuroStars players because I know, you know, between teams who always play one another, and I'm sure a lot of them see each other on the European tournaments.
Absolutely.
You know, you develop rivalries
Absolutely.
and things, and oh, you know, I'm always marking her, and she's always breaking me and stuff. And so it must be nice for these players to come together and play together on the same team.
Absolutely, for sure. And
oh, beautiful grab.
Huge pickup there from Sarah Boback.
That wasn't her signature one. It was too low. She goes up for those.
Picking up that ankle breaker. And
it's weird right now. It's like they're, like Jordan Marin there was doing the start of the cut, which is why the throw went up, and then she didn't come around. So it's like there's a couple misunderstandings going on.
And mistakes that the EuroStars are also struggling to capitalize on, but they look to be tightening up now. A lovely long put to France Scrampy. 360s as she catches. Again, using that floating layoff of exploiting the face marks of 6ixers. Lovely charge up the line from Brugel.
Oh!
It's such a shame, perhaps a little bit too much sing from Brugel, but
yeah.
Great throw from the EuroStars. They'll be disappointed.
Yeah, that is tough when you work it up like that and you're expecting to have that goal. Yeah, it's hard to get back on defense and fight. But
potentially that's what caused the disc to smack out of the hands of Scrampy. Sometimes when you can see you're free and plain sailing, you just take your eye off for that final second.
Right.
The handler's working really well against this.
Nobody.
EuroStars defense. Again, Kimura running the show at the back with Niska Boji. Fortunate turn. Martel picks up. Bass struggles to get 3, but Scarampy coming in. Shooting it long to Milik. And there we have it. Lovely work from Scrampy. Nice to see her being able to use her long, expansive game. We haven't seen so much of it on this tour as we did last year.
Beautiful throw.
Lovely. Lovely rolling look into space, and EuroStars finally claiming that point in the corner.
Yeah.
And there we have it, EuroStars taking the half, 8-6, managing to get those breaks right at the end. But really great first half from both teams. High intensity, levels are very, very high here. Lovely to see some wonderful defensive work, but those high intensity levels are leading to quite a few miscommunications on both sides as well. What do you make of both teams' performances, Elena?
Oh, it's amazing. Like we said, similarly, they're both struggling in some areas, but they're also doing pretty well at punishing one another for those mistakes, right? So it's you know, it's 8-6, but it feels like 7-7. You know, it's well matched. I do want to see both teams maybe be a little more disciplined in those moments, and you know, follow through with what's expected of you as a cutter, as a handler, right? And run those plays. Just trust the system, like we saw at the beginning of the game. It seemed like they were doing that a lot easier, and they just have to kind of find that faith in each other again.
Yeah. See, both teams suffering from individual errors, but hasn't stopped some phenomenal performances. It's just meant more ultimate at the end of the day, more contest, more battle. You can see the lovely expansive games that both teams have been showing us to us today. Brilliant athletic plays. Milik and Bass.
You can see the coach, Carla, strategizing with the captains and former captains, consolidating basically their message so that they can bring a couple clear goals to the team for the second half. Carla is really good at doing that, you know, really condensing it down to a few things that as a player you can wrap your head around and try and focus on. That'll hopefully improve their play in the second half.
And where do you think the difference will lie in this game? For me, I feel like it is the first team who cleans up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're both getting some Ds. You know, it's not a huge part of the game, but it really more is these offensive mistakes that we're seeing happen. But it looks like the audience is enjoying the game. There's some good energy there.
So yeah, a great first half here in Toronto. 6ixers and EuroStars having a very competitive match. EuroStars have just managed to take a 2-point lead as we enter the half, but 6ixers by no means out of this game. We've seen great performances from the team as a whole so far, and in particular the new players that have been bumped up to this roster have had really great performances.
Have you seen that sign? Equity, so it's ESPN, condensed equity, spirit, progress, integrity. And that really is part of why this tour is here, right, for equity. Trying to expand and showcase, you know, athletics for women, and showing it, you know, it's important for boys and girls to see that, you know, we can play at this high level, and that they're really awesome.
Absolutely, the reason for this tour's existence is exactly that visibility of high-level female athletes. And as part of that ethos and as part of that mission for EuroStars, every city we go to, we celebrate the empowerment champions, those that have done much for their local community to inspire women and girls in ultimate. And we can see Bexforth now presenting our Toronto winners.
Show how much we value them and how much the community values them. So we have 3 empowerment champions here in Toronto. 2 can't be with us today, but 1 most of the players, and she will be accepting all the awards on their behalf. So I'd like to welcome Aline Admasena. you can say a few words about.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. So as you guys know, the Ultimate Experience, Lloyd and Lynn, they have been massive equity heroes in our city, especially in the last year. So just to say a few things about them, they've done an amazing job in their leagues and in their tournaments of creating an amazingly inclusive and safe space for all genders and all different types of players. In addition to that, they single-handedly saved the Toronto Women's Indoor League, and not only did they save it, they also created a league. It was the biggest women's league that we had ever had in Toronto. So thank you for that. Lynn and Blue used their resources to host the Upwind Equity Tour. They partnered with Upwind for that, which was incredible, and it was an amazing experience to be able to host those kind of conversations in our city for one of the first times. And of course, they're just rock stars. So round of applause for Blue and Lynn. In addition to that, there is another local hometown hero that I want to talk about. She can't be here today, but you all know her, Adriana Withers, the CEO of VC. Let's give her a round of applause. It's not always easy to not only be a voice and an advocate for something, but also to seriously put your money and your resources and your time behind it. And Adriana is constantly using any capital or any voice that she has in sport to be a really strong advocate for gender equity. And she does that both on her personal time and also through her company, VC. I personally am an advocate for always supporting VC whenever you can, because they do such an incredible job of being inclusive and fighting for equity. So let's give a round of applause for Adriana. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, everyone. Let's give a last round of applause for all the empowerment champions.
So welcome back here in Toronto to the second half of the penultimate game of the America's Pro Cup, where EuroStars currently lead the Toronto 6ixers 8-6. They managed to break away at the end of that first half, but up until then, really both teams trading, both teams having really fantastic plays, showing their athleticism, showing the fantastic structures, but both teams also wobbling a lot with unforced errors and rushing. So really, what's going to make the difference here as we come into the second half, Elena?
Well, as we were saying before, whichever team can be more disciplined and not only make good decisions, but execute well, right? One thing I do want to say that I've noticed just during this half, there are a lot of men here watching, and I love that, because often when there was a conversation about equity a while ago in sport, and it was still a lot of women at that meeting. I was like, where are all the men?
Right.
And so it's great to see a lot of men out here supporting this effort too, in the showcasing of women. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the dudes here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hold a hell of a lot of love for Toronto.
Yeah.
And exactly what this tour is about. This tour is all about engagement. This tour is all about highlighting female talent. This is about sharing and celebrating female talent, those male or female who do everything to help that cause. And I know you were talking to the 6ixers coach earlier before the game, Elena. Why did she feel it was important for 6ixers to be part of this tour?
Part of it really is about equity and raising the level of awareness and, putting the spotlight on women in sport and showing them at a high level. Carla has 2 children. Her daughter, Margot, is maybe 7 now. And for her, it's normal that women play sports as adults at this high level, because she's always at a tournament with her, practices, and she's like, one day Margot might realize that that's not like this everywhere. But if we can put the effort in now to make this more normal, maybe we'll have more girls who keep playing sports in high school and as adults, and we have maybe we can lessen that dropout rate of women who are involved in sport.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be at a high level, but girls need mentors, and they need role models, and it's important for young boys to see women playing at this level too.
Absolutely, very important to have that cultural shift, and it's wonderful to see it happen in really quite a short space of time. So here we have the second half kicking off. 6ixers coming out on offense, looking to get back into this game. Again, Kimura found on the line, showing great patience.
Some
lovely flow from 6ixers. Again, another aggressive charge on the line. This time, Kimura wins that matchup between Scarampi. We've seen it earlier in the game.
Beaudry making a shot for the end zone there. Being called back.
So, still a bit of discussion, it looks like, on the field. Diskin swinging it straight round. Good.
Oh, nice.
Lovely yardage gain there on the under to Merlon. Again, another stoppage in play. Looks like potentially a disc base call.
I love the reenactment. This is that moment of discipline we were hoping for, potentially. Okay.
There it is. And a quick point in there for 6ixers, a flawless point. And lovely confidence coming out. Again, in that second half, you were saying before, Elena, you wonder what the coaches were going to be saying in that huddle. Whatever it was, it seems to have worked.
Yeah, it looked like the cutters were, following through with what they were promising in their cuts, essentially. Coming back under, bigger gainers than we've seen previously, making space, finding space. So that was a beautiful point. And then there had to be a little luck between Jordan Marin and was that Lauren Kimmerer who got it in the end zone though? There had to be a little luck there right before the disc was called in that they gave each other before that happened so fast.
So Jordan Marin, a former Capitals player.
Yes.
Former TC junior, former TC Beach mixed captain I have here, 11 years of play.
Yeah, she has tons of experience, and she kind of has a bit of an ultimate family Her twin brother plays Ultimate. Her younger brother plays Ultimate. All at the Worlds levels too. So they're really, you know, it's Ultimate is in their genes
the
I think,
bloodline
at this point.
We also have a few family connections on the EuroStars squad as well. Plasma Kublitska was introduced to the game from her mum, actually,
wow.
middle school PE teacher.
Oh, that's great.
And it seems like her mum deserves one of these Empowerment Champion Awards. Only today I was talking to Lasma, and her mum is developing a new program to get under 12s involved in Salisbury, their local town just outside of Riga.
Wow.
So, Yanni Kaubelman finding acres of space underneath, making a connection with her fab teammate Elauza, both currently residents of Bern in Switzerland, and puts it long to Demanskaya. Fortunately, way out. And again, hitting those cuts a little too late, and they'd already eaten up much of the room on the pitch, and 6ixers confidently swinging it at the back. Finding Sarah Kidd again on the sideline, and nearly unravelled there by Hauser, but on the far sideline now with Destin McQuillan. Sorry, was I saying that wrong earlier? McQuillan.
Yeah. The stall count must be pretty high at this point.
So,
some good defense by the EuroStars there by that dump, especially, or dump mark.
Oh, big pressure there from Demanskaya.
Well, travel
Serenus did well.
Travel called on Lewis's throw.
Travel call, so whenever you catch the disc, you have to establish a pivot foot before you throw, and sometimes that can be hard to slow down your momentum and inadvertently cause a travel. A low throw there from 6ixers, which asks a lot of the receiver and unfortunately generates a turnover. But EuroStars have a lot of the pitch to make up. Setting up in a horizontal straight away, cycling through. Not being able to find Demanskaya, finding fourth, who sends it long.
Oh, beautiful defense.
Wonderful defense from Sarah Kidd.
That isn't Sarah Kidd. We've had these two numbers mixed up. That must be Cindy.
Oh, pardon.
Yeah.
My apologies. Sorry, Cindy.
She's another one of the Toxics players who's come up to play, and that was an incredible showing there on D.
Wow, what a fantastic debut performance from these Toxics players. The crowd roared then as she...
Yeah, she read that really well.
And against one of the most long-serving female ultimate athletes in the Fourth Sisters. Beck's fourth.
Oh, nice try, though. That was Trong again.
So there's the discussion whether there is a foul on the play there. Maybe Kapelman hit the hand of Trong as she made a play on the disc. We'll look at the replay.
Oh, it did look like there was potentially some contact there.
It was a real smack, and whether it was just on the disc or on the hand is hard to tell, but
based on the positioning, it sort of looked like it did get her hand, because she did have both hands up on either side of the disc.
Right. So,
it's going back.
The disc has gone back, so it would appear it was a contested foul. As you can see, all players here, this is a self-officiating game, all players making these decisions on their own, using dialogue to make the game work. A little fumble from Beck's fourth there as Dustin McQuillan streaks the end zone, but unable to find her. Instead, looking to find Kristen Jurjunk, I believe.
Yeah, Jurjunk. Incredible bid. That I would like to see again.
Wonderful play. So we have Trong popping that disc off.
Lewis was all over that point.
just as was promised before the game.
There you go. I believe Juricek had another similar, you know, picture-perfect bid on defense at the AO game a few weeks back. Didn't get it, but it was one of those like incredible, like picture-perfect bids.
Yeah. And talking to Jessica Chen earlier, she said that's exactly what they come to expect from Juricek. I have it here in my notes, pump up plays.
See, there you go.
That is the phrase, and that is the player that they look to make these huge grabs, to make these huge plays, and shift the momentum of the game. And I think that's certainly the case right now, as Sixers have come out, taken those first 2 points of the second half, and we're back to level peggings, 8-8 here. So nice to see that we're seeing less mistakes than before in the first half.
Yeah, it seems like the half sort of settled the Sixers a little bit.
The ball dies quite violently out of the end zone. Quite a fair walk back for Bass to the edge of the sideline, giving time for the Sixers to set up their D. Bass will choose to brick it and restart the play in the center. See the EuroStars setting up in an isolation here with Katie Forth. Unable to find her, and there's a big hole now in the middle of the pitch, and Bass struggled for options, trying to find Forth again, and Sixers get the turn. Resetting to Reeve Chen. Nice patient swing in from Sixers.
Oh, wow.
Lovely instinctive save there. I love those reflexive outstretched bids. Ninja-like reflexes, and again, lovely pickup from number 6, Sarah Burke.
Beautiful point.
And a beautiful point there from the Sixers.
Yeah. I mean, and it started off with that D by Laura Kaneshita there. Again, I mean, if you're gonna run an ISO play, which is often, I mean, you have one of your strongest cutters in that isolation position. But with Laura Kaneshita on you, it really has to be precise, right? Because she does have a great, she is fast, she's athletic, she has a great sense on defense and offense, and she just took that one down, and then Sixers ran with it.
Yeah, definitely a surprise, the EuroStars, they're coming out. Katie Forth, as we know, as we've discussed, a player that's been in this game for over 20 years and very, very much still dominating. Player for Texas Showdown. She's been in Houston now for the last 15 years. She's also played in the pro team Austin Torch this year. And understandably, when she wasn't found, there was a hole in the middle, and EuroStars didn't make those adjustments quick enough. Bass had a lot to do.
Yeah.
And that was important for the EuroStars coming into this game. Talking to Bex Forth, the captain, earlier on, it was those individual adjustments that needed to be acknowledged and made in the game that was potentially going to make the difference for them. But a huge point there for Sixers. That's 3 points on the trot now.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to see the EuroStars respond here.
Sixers goal scored by number 7.
So deep pull caught by Dimanskaya. Laying off to Hauser.
Oh, very tight.
France Prien eventually, but a fantastic bid from Jeanette Kwok. EuroStars maintain possession. Bex Forth streaking free, but Kabelman not choosing to take on the mark and instead throwing it straight to Jessica Chen in the center. And again, Sixers are now on the rampage. Wonderful, patient throw. An easy reset there to Chen, who's finding Jessica McLeod on the break side. Resetting again. Little movement from the stack, but eventually Bethany Wong takes the initiative and pops it off with a score. And now that's 2 points ahead now for the Sixers. And again, another fantastic point. The momentum really feels like it's shifting here now.
It really has. And you can see the Sixers look really relaxed right now. Like they seem really relaxed.
I can imagine this team is incredibly proud of the performance of these players that they brought up tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've all had, you know, incredible moments in this game. And it's just such a great experience to be brought up and, like, you know, to play in, you know, the stadium might not be hugely packed. It might not be, you know, people everywhere. But the pressure's still on, you know. There's bright lights on you. It's a big field. It feels more important than it is than other games, right? So to rise to that occasion is something that all of those players should be really proud of as well.
And it absolutely is an occasion. I mean, these toxic players are playing in, you know, the first professional female series in Ultimate Frisbee. What a stage to perform on, and they've risen to it absolutely astoundingly. They really have been incredibly impactful in this game tonight. So EuroStars taking a timeout, a very necessary one, and again that's a clever one and one that Bex4 will have made exactly because you would have recognized this momentum shift.
Totally, yeah, and you want to try and slow it down and try and come together on your side. And again, that is maybe more of a challenge for EuroStars who haven't played that long together to, you know, get in sync at this point in the game.
I really feel like the EuroStars just need to be bolder at this stage in the game.
Right.
There's definitely players getting free on the pitch, and I feel like the people on the disc are just waiting for the cuts that they want and not the cuts that can be hit.
Right, totally.
So EuroStars walk back to the line. Sixers ready and raring to go. I think it's Molly Lewis again with the disc. He'll be pulling for the Sixers. And we were discussing the importance of the tour earlier and the importance of visibility. But tell me more again about what Carla said about engaging high schoolers.
Right, so part of the Elites program, or why it is so popular, I should say, is really getting buy-in from high school teachers and making like Ultimate a really cool thing to do in high school. So it becomes the thing that most kids want to do, and it also ends up being a legitimate choice that they can make.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, by default you play rugby or something else that has, you know, this more sort of legitimate maybe or like history behind it,
right.
That's more ingrained in the school.
Right.
But making, you know, like Ultimate's a choice too. You can choose to play Ultimate this season as your sport, and so that's been an important part of it, definitely to get buy-in from the teachers, and then it just feeds down into having this huge pool of talent who want to learn the sport.
Fantastic. So EuroStars fresh from the timeout, looking for a nice clinical point. Rugel laying off to Milik, finding Bass streaking under. Again, few options in that centre field. Bass is looking for Milik, but turns to find Fourth on this close sideline. You can see Fourth trying to direct Skarampi up the line, but
oh wow, it works.
There's a cluster, and thankfully Milik was there to clean up, and again sends a lovely sailing around throw to a free Bass in the end zone. An important point for the EuroStars there. Nearly wasn't to be. Quite fortuitous clean up there for Milik.
Yeah, where were those players from who just threw and received?
Milik from Denmark throwing to Bass. Yeah.
Okay,
Bass.
you know what? Because I just had like a flashback to playing a tournament. Maybe is it the Copenhagen tournament?
Right.
I don't remember, but playing with Iceni. And we just got crushed by the Dutch team, and it was a lot of those beautiful like flick OIs, and it just took us totally by storm. But then it became something that we tried to learn how to do and incorporate into our game. But yeah, so this might be what's going on too. It's not necessarily what the defense is expecting, so they're leaving a little too much room on that person who's cutting deep, and then they just throw that beautiful throw to space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a style of play that you see quite a lot in Europe.
Yeah.
I definitely know it's something that I've trained, that kind of coming up the middle of the end zone and then peeling away to the break side.
Yeah.
So 6ixers responding now, but they have to get through this EuroStars zone. Just trying to clamp him on the sideline, but they found that hole straight away and aggressively moving upfield. Lovely, quick, short discs and making it look incredibly easy. Once they'd popped through that zone, there was really no stopping them. Gas fully on the pedal. Pedal fully on the gas. Okay.
Well, it's still a close game.
But 6ixers just, as you say, making it look easy, showing incredible composure.
Yeah.
And really all they need to do now is just keep doing the same thing. They've managed to get that break. But
yeah, I'm curious to see what Bex is calling on the line at the moment.
So yeah, absolutely, as you were saying before, that engagement with high school is critical, and it's brilliant how much we can learn from the successful program in Ontario here.
Right.
You can see it in the team tonight, you can see it in the performances at Junior Worlds. And what's wonderful about this tour is exactly that. It makes Ultimate a legitimate choice.
It does, yeah.
For schools and in particular for women and girls. And we know that Fran Scrampi, after playing the tour last year, was able to give a presentation in her school this year where she works. And she has all this wonderful footage.
Right.
She has this backing and it makes her voice louder.
Right.
And that's exactly what the tour is about. It's about giving these incredibly talented women that have worked really hard in their communities for some over a decade, the majority over a decade, the legitimacy to make waves back at home.
Right. Yeah, it's very exciting to see all the different work that's being done.
So EuroStars looking to hold and claw back those points, square up that margin.
Here.
But it won't be easy. 6ixers with a tight defense, and again EuroStars having to work those tight spaces, but a perfectly weighted pass from Katie Forth, who punches the air as Isa Prada reels in the score.
I mean, we both knew she wanted that, right?
Yeah.
She got it, right? We both knew that was going up.
And a nice quick point there for the EuroStars. Again, that's something that's really important for momentum when you feel like you're really breaking through the other team's defense.
Yeah, and that's sometimes that's all it takes to sort of shift the momentum back too. It doesn't necessarily need to be a big play. It just needs to be something well executed to sort of get back to that level of confidence and play another good point after.
Exactly, something that makes you feel really slick and really makes you feel like a team unit.
Yeah.
Riding on fifth gear, and that team unit has been a challenge for the EuroStars, unsurprisingly. As we said before, a team that has come together from 13 nations, a team that hadn't had the opportunity to play until the tour began, a team that's only really trained half a dozen times during these 2 weeks with such a grueling schedule. It's a fine balance of training and making those connections and obviously resting.
Right.
But yeah, great to see them fighting back and honing that team identity.
So we have some poachy defense right here, taking away that look.
EuroStars trying to keep 6ixers on that sideline. Lily Stephanatis finding Kimura, who really opens up the pitch. Eklund can't get there fast enough and has left herself exposed. Malone on the sideline now. Nice cheeky layoff. Whisker away from Priyan on the defense, but
oh, taking a cue from the EuroStars, yeah. I mean, and right off the bat at the start of that point with the poaching going on, Stephanitis did the right thing to come all the way back because she was open, she was poached, and if she didn't get the disc, she was just allowing that poach to stay there in that lane and clog everything up. So, you know, that's part of the challenge, is adapting to what the defense is trying to make you do and not allowing them to just let you fall into that trap.
Right. So 6ixers still charging away ahead. EuroStars struggling to make back those points. But again, nice to see slick offensive points for both teams now. Both teams not making the same mistakes we saw in the first half.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. We haven't seen the same kind of errors at all.
Absolutely. And the way it should be, it looks like the D is making the difference. And at the moment, the 6ixers seem to be edging.
I don't know, I've learned though, never, you know, never say never almost at any score differential, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
EuroStars still very much in the game, very, very much.
And it looks, I mean, it is a beautiful night. Those clouds that we saw earlier, it looks like they just kept going right over us, and it's back to being a beautiful night.
So Bass picking up the disc and finding Ferrampi in the centre. Unfortunate trip. But just the strong body of Nicky Birch that caused Scrampy to fall. Laying off to Milik. Finding Ines Brugel in the centre. Lovely around, and EuroStars taking on those throws as we need them to against this tight 6ixers defense. There's a pick called, and the defender will catch up with her mark. Milik, stalk out getting high. She tries to take it off the line, but finds Bass on the reset.
Beautiful.
Bass taking that.
Oh.
Lovely, decisive IO, opening up the pitch straight away, and only another pass needed there to put the point away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know she didn't score that point, but it's almost like she did, because she opened it up so nicely that that throw was so easy into the end zone.
And Bass is such a weapon to have, that vision and that confidence to take on these throws has been really impactful for EuroStars throughout the tour. And something that the EuroStars definitely need right now, with Bass leading by example.
Right.
So we know we've had the World Junior Championships this week in Canada as well. Have you managed to see much of it?
I have not, unfortunately. I've caught, you know, glimpses here and there and highlights here and there, but I have unfortunately have not had a chance to follow that. Yeah, unfortunately.
We've been fielding questions from some of the junior teams this week, actually. We've done a few Facebook Lives.
Oh, yeah? Oh, great.
Yeah, to answer them. We've had 3 so far.
I mean, I love watching juniors, though. Like, just, they give, like, 150%, right? On every layout, on every bid. And just, like, that's just the intensity and passion at that level, too, is just so infectious.
Absolutely. My dream is a team of 10-year-old girls to coach.
Yeah,
that's the dream. So, EuroStars pressing those handlers, but not enough. Unleashing a huge throw, but again, Dimaiskaya's big reach manages to smack it out of the air. Lily Stepanakis unable to reel it in. So, nice aggressive play there from 6ixers.
Again, not the worst decision, but, you know, a little too much hang there,
right,
giving Dimaiskaya a chance to get at it.
Another call. Players do use the whipped off hand signals in this tour. I may have missed it, but potentially an injury. I think there's potentially an injury. There's a replacement on the pitch for the 6ixers.
Injury substitution.
Yeah, injury substitution. So Cindy Trong will come in for the 6ixers and set up the mark on Laura Ferolfi. Wolfie finding Kublitska on this near sideline. Unfortunate miscommunication there. Not sure if it was meant for Bex or for the Kiprian, but they've been
immediate turn.
Gifted back the disc. And lovely instinctive throw there from Hauser, finding Priing in Akers' space. And we saw the EuroStars trying to do that before, hitting the space but not getting the execution right, but now on the money, and EuroStars getting the point on the board. And back to level peggings, 12-12.
I can feel the annoyance of the Sixers at that point. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Absolutely, and for the first time, I think we've seen a less energetic Sixers walking back to the line now. Again, that momentum has shifted the other way, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this as the game begins to draw to a close.
Yeah, especially at this point, you want to be like making the other team work so hard to get that point, and so to see it just happen so easily off of a turn and then an easy pass, it's just yeah, it's incredibly frustrating.
You can see EuroStars very eager to capitalize this. We had all the players there on the line. They'll be fully engaged in this point, full sideline. Absolutely vital as EuroStars look to get this break. Another lovely deep ball from Skarampi. Again, given straight away to...
Oh, that's a good look.
Lovely, lovely shot up the line. Sixers race in.
Oh, wow.
EuroStars hot on the heels. Kimura again, anchoring this Sixers O-line. And a miscommunication there on the reset. Great cover from Maya Milik.
I mean, she must have been near the end of that stall count too. It looked like she just needed to quickly get it out of her hands. That was great defense from the EuroStars.
Really wonderful defense, and we've seen the Sixers be able to get those really tight passes in on those handler resets. They know they can do it, but unfortunately...
That was a little too suffocating.
Wonderful athletic bid there to keep the disc alive from Skarampi. Doing all she can for the EuroStars right now. And that's Brugel trapped on the line, but Skarampi breaking free for her. Lovely, patient, beautifully weighted throw. But many crowding around Melvin, but manages to find Brugel. Nice. Strong pivots, but a crowded sideline, but somehow Lucio Teller manages to win the disc, and finding Milik again in the center. Charges up the line for that continuation.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic play. And here goes the hammer. The stall count must have been high, and there's Melvin to bring it in.
Again, not necessarily what the Sixers would have expected, but the stall count might have been a little bit higher at that point too, so that's definitely a look when it's crowded downfield.
And I don't know, there does seem to be a little bit of wind. I feel like discs that feel like they should be faster aren't coming out. I think that the disc is slowing down more than players are anticipating at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But there we have it. EuroStars take that break late in the game. And both teams recognize how defining that point could be, and both taking a timeout.
Now Sixers need to regroup.
Yeah, we can see the Carla, the coach, with the two captains. It's Merlon and Kimura. Just having a private three-person huddle there, re-strategizing.
Trying to give the team a focus for the next point even. Don't even think too far ahead at this point, right? What are you doing in the next point?
Likewise, you can see a lot of hand gesturing from Bexforth in the EuroStars huddle. And Lasma Kublitska, the joie de vivre of this team. I've never met someone who was so excited to play on this team. We did some pre-tour interviews, and when I asked her why do you think she was picked for this team, she just immediately blurted, because I'm crazy for Ultimate, and everyone knows it. And her dedication to this sport is phenomenal. Like I was saying to you before, started when she was 10 and has really just become a master of the game purely from playing. There's not the same structure in Latvia that you have in developed clubs here, countries here like Canada. There's not that progression. It's not, oh, I'm going to play for Toxic then for 6ixers. She really was one of a few. And travels overnight to go and play in Eastern Europe, in Russia. She says she has no vacation days, but she'll just drive overnight and head to work straight away. Just a pure love of the game has got her to this stage. And someone that truly deserves to be at this level.
Yeah, that's amazing. I gotta say, I'm getting like a little more antsy in my movements.
I can see you getting,
I'm like,
getting
bouncing around a lot more.
I'm chill. It's in the bag. It's in the bag.
Yeah, in fact, I was watching a 6ixers game when they were at Worlds that was streamed, and Carla wasn't there. Her partner, Evan, was there coaching them. But I texted her after the game, and I was like, it just makes me either want to play or coach. I didn't know which one. But yeah, it's just so exciting to watch, and I can't help but, feel so, I just can't help but root for them.
When they're charging almost now. Wow. Fantastic defense from Nikki Priyan.
Totally turned Marin around. She
Absolutely.
could not read it anymore.
Immediate high from 10s from Kablitska. That was a big D for the Eurostars. The chance to convert here now will send them in 1 point of winning the game.
Oh, look, she almost had it, but just...
Yeah, that looks like that was in her hands.
Got a little bodied out, I guess.
So, Eurostars setting up with quite a shallow horizontal. There's a deep poach there from Kimura, taking out Nikki Priyan as an option. So, Hauser finds Swarovski instead on this near sideline. Not liking the up the line, and
there's a long look.
Wonderful, lovely put from Hauser. The fab connection there from the two Burn players. What a great bailout option with some clustering cuts underneath, and Capelman again on the sideline.
Oh wow!
Rushing the throw a little bit, saved by the huge lunge of Ferolfi. Hauser again, not liking what she sees, but taking on that break. But
that's a tough throw in that tight space there.
Yeah, lots of bodies getting close to that disc there.
Okay, 6ixers have another chance. This is when they need to take a deep breath and show us some of that discipline we've been talking about as well.
Absolutely big moment for 6ixers now. Eurostars will be kicking themselves if 6ixers manage to walk away with this point. Nice. Big mark for Yanni Capelman, stopping anything upfield. Nice effective poaching there, just forcing 6ixers to swing. But they find Jessica Chen up the line, who gives Mona great momentum. But again, I think that wind has taken effect.
Yeah, that's an upwind throw, so you really need to make sure you're correcting for that. Otherwise it will just get taken away.
Fantastic layout from Demanskaya to keep the disc alive, and there she puts a sensational IO huck right into the path of Ferolfi, as we saw earlier in the game. That connection coming good again.
Do I start my MVP chant now, or wait till later?
And there we have it, 14-12 for Eurostars. Ferolfi finding Becksforth, another connection that has been popular for them on this tour. And now Eurostars get that momentum at the crucial point of the game, and 1 point away now from sealing the victory. But absolutely not writing 6ixers off at all. Phenomenal performance so far, but it does seem that they've lost that buoyancy that they had earlier in the game.
I mean, that's one of those incredible things about sport, like just the body language of playing too. Like one of my former captains of Capitals, like long-standing captain, amazing, incredible player, Team Canada player, Alison Walker, you know, that's one thing we all learned from her, was always about body language too. Because the other team reads it, they know it. So you're tired, you know, don't put your hands on your knees and you know, be heaving down. Like, stand tall, stand proud, still show that kind of confidence. Because your teammates read that too, right? Everyone reads that, and that's a collective energy. And if you're gonna, you know, bring it, you can either bring it down or bring it up. And body language is one of those things that does that.
Absolutely, and it takes a lot of energy itself to do that, right? A lot of mental energy to do that, to fake it till you make it, as it were.
Absolutely, yeah.
And again, as impressive as this young side are, maybe that's what the EuroStars have the edge on them at the moment. They're very experienced.
And I also think that they are doing things that the Sixers aren't expecting a little bit. So it is a new challenge for the Sixers.
So again, a dying pull into this wind, which is really making a difference on the pitch. The throws are dying much quicker than the players are anticipating. So Sixers setting up in a split stack, but unable to hit the upfield players. And again, another fantastic hand mark from Franz Scampi, but huge pickup. The chase down from Sixers. See again, aggressive upline cutting from Sixers. Wonderful, wonderfully weighted put. The glory's there for the taking, but
beautiful throw and just out of reach.
I really thought she was going to lay for that.
I really did too. I think I just ended up curving a bit too much, and she wasn't under it anymore. That's a shame. That would have been a beautiful
real shame.
play.
You could see the crowd getting on their feet as the disc hit that end zone, but EuroStars now have a chance to put this game to bed.
Oh, defense.
Not to be. Franz Scampi there, really throwing straight into the path of Sixers. So EuroStars defense has to work hard again. And
it's an uncharacteristic
such
drop
a shame.
from Sarah Kidd,
And you can see both teams getting nervous as the game is potentially drawing to a close.
I'm getting nervous, look at me.
Melvin, good confident break to find Scampi on the sideline. Lovely momentum now from the EuroStars. Lucy Hotel calms it down, making sure the right decisions are taken. This game is there for the taking. Look, finding Bass. Ushering some movement, sends it to Sarah Melvin in the end zone. And I believe that's the win.
I believe it is.
Wasn't quite sure if Melvin was in there, but EuroStars streaking in to celebrate, and they take the game 15-12.
Wow. Great game.
Great, great game. You can see here, Bass really wanting to hit Melvin, just deciding to make that eye contact, exploiting the face mark again, and hitting Melvin on the corner of the end zone. And a really great win for EuroStars. With that 3-point margin, I believe that puts 2 extra points to them on the board now. So currently Team Europe leading 9-6.
To quote Alison Walker again, former Team Canada player and captain, it's a game of runs. And that's exactly what we saw today, right? It was a game of runs. You could see it in the energy and the body language of both teams when they were up and when they were down. And that's what you want in a good game, right? It was an incredible game.
Really incredible game. Really impressive performance from a Sixers roster that has been bolstered by the up-and-coming players. And here we see the results now. EuroStars leading the way 9-6. So going into the DC game very, very strong. DC, if they can beat the EuroStars with a healthy margin, have the opportunity to tie with the EuroStars. But
is there a tiebreaker if that happens?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But fantastic game here today, and EuroStars can be really proud of the resilience that they've shown in this tour. Bex Forth was saying that one of the biggest challenges is team identity, a team being thrown together over only 2 weeks to prove themselves. And in the Fury game was unable to hold the systems that they've been trying to employ, and
Right.
instead individuals kind of reverting back to what they were used to.
Right.
In the Brute Squad game, there's just a clinical offense that just didn't even let them get into the game, didn't even let them flex their muscles. So really great to see that when that momentum shifted in this game against 6ixers, the 6ixers, who were always looking very competitive in this game, managed to keep their heads in and see it out at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible showing. Oh, there's lots of hugs and things going on down there. That's so nice.
Do you have any highlights of the game, Elena? Any plays of the game that particularly stand out for you?
I mean, the beautiful hucks. Like, we had a couple just incredible looks. Dominskaya, like, actually that last one of the last few plays, to her huge layout right near the line, and then quick huck for score. Just incredible. How about yourself? Anything stand out to you?
I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. Those big long puts from Domanskaya. Lovely to see her making such an impact on the team, especially as a new player. So here we have the Spirit Circle now.
They thought the spirit was like, how they thought the game went, and we want to include all the fans in this, so we're going to start. So I'm going to let Okay, first of all, I want to say thanks to the fans. It was awesome you guys came out. You bring the potential thunderstorm that didn't happen. Let's get another round of applause for the thunderstorm that didn't happen. Yeah. EuroStars, thank you so much for coming and play us. It's such an honor for us to get to play Elite Women's Ultimate in front of our own city in a stadium like this. Like, you can see the CN Tower, it's right over there. This is the coolest experience for us, so thank you so much for coming. You guys pushed us so hard, not gonna lie. I thought we had you when we got those 3 breaks, but you guys, like, your mental toughness is insane. You pushed so hard, and I don't know if we scored after those 3 breaks. It was incredible. We're in a hard part of our season. We have our goals. There's still so much to go, and we're hitting a bit of a slump. And this game is perfect because it's really reminding us how much harder we have to push for the rest of the season. So thank you for kicking the butt. Thank you for the reminder. It's going to make us stronger. I'm really excited to watch the last game. Congratulations on an amazing tour, and best of luck with your final game. We know it's going to be amazing. And we'll be watching. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Jordan, and to all the 6ixers. So,
So as we can see, the 2 teams circling up for the Spirit Circle, and in every game in this tour, this Spirit Circle has been shared with the crowd, and it's all part of that engagement. And as we can see, Bexforth and the rest of the team sharing why it's important to be in this tour, about that visibility that we talked about earlier, about highlighting female athletes. And also at every tour, I don't know if you've seen, Elena, we have a big poster saying what will you do to help women's development, and everyone who comes in gets given a sticker, and whether it be mentoring a female player, sponsoring a team, coaching, sharing videos, sharing photos.
That's great. I've never seen this opening up of the Spirit Circle too, and it isn't, I never thought of it before, but really it's kind of a mystery what we do in those circles to anyone who doesn't play the sport, right, to some of the supporters. So it's a great idea.
Absolutely, and a fantastic atmosphere tonight, fantastic stadium. Big thank you to the Toronto Rush for hosting this event in such a beautiful facility. I really love, what I love most about this stadium is you can see it's quite open around the edges.
Yeah.
It's really there
for
the public to engage with, exactly. And we really hope that what's happened tonight has sparked the interest of many people just walking around. So again, big thank you to Toronto Rush, and again a shout out to Jim Lloyd, who the owner of Toronto Rush, who Bex Forth has said has just been absolutely amazing, extremely supportive, has made everything very easy. He's been incredibly helpful. Earlier when we were setting up, he came in just before we were about to go live and checking we had everything we needed. Offering water. Thank you again so much, and thank you again to all of our sponsors, Fulcrum Media, Friction Gloves, Breakforce Ultimate, who've provided the really snazzy Team America kits for Toronto 6ixers tonight. I'm a big fan of those. 50/50 for the water bottles, Discraft. Probably forgetting someone. But again, wonderful, wonderful performance from both teams tonight, and hopefully we'll have some highlights for you soon to relive all the best moments of this game. As we see Dimmer Sky's big throws being unleashed early on before the sunset. Great physical play from both sides, as we come to expect from this level of competition. So big thank you to everyone who's been watching tonight. We will be heading to Washington DC for the final game of the Americas Pro Cup Series this Tuesday, 7 PM Central Eastern Time, 3 AM European Time. And EuroStars may be leading 3 points, but DC will be hoping to level that margin out as much as possible. Take care, and we will see you in 3 days' time for the final game of the Americas Pro Cup.